So I want to talk about this Anker Solix system that I bought a while back and just kind of go over, what we ended up with. So, um, the breakdown here doesn't show me everything for some reason. I don't really know why, but the the Solix, the expansion battery, and one solar panel was showing $46.99. I'm assuming that was the sale price. If you come down here, you'll see more discounts. So maybe there were more discounts that aren't factored into these prices. I'm not real sure. Um, I do know that one of these solar panels was free because you buy, all this and this, you get a free solar panel. So I ended up buying one of the solar panels for $6.99. The This solar panel was included with the system, and I got one free. So really, I'm out $6.99. And then I added the cooler, which I really wanted the cooler. I wanted to give it a try and see if I liked it at $5.99. Now, after all of these were applied, so there's the $8.99 for, I assumed, a solar panel. I really don't know. I don't know. Actually, $8.99. No, that was $5.99. I don't know. Anyway, so they did the free gift. They removed $8.99. And then I got these discount codes for each different item, so it knocked another $250 off for something here, $200 off for this, $26.98 on the Solix itself. So whatever, that's pretty cheap. I don't know the breakdown. I'm not doing the math on all these, but in end of the day, after tax, I ended up paying $64.01.79. We had some concerns about the usability of the solar panels because, I bought three of them at $700 a piece ish. You get this one in a bundle. It was only like $300, but we had some concerns about the usability of the solar panels, mainly because they weren't producing anywhere near what they said they would. And the company offered to return the entire system for me and give me my money back. But the problem was, this just the Anker Solix is 150 pounds. The additional battery is another 80. Each solar panel is about 60 pounds. To send all that back, I was going to have to pay a pretty decent amount in shipping just to send it back. So we didn't do that. But what they did do is they offered a $502 refund. And so I had to go to my email to find that to get the exact number. So let's do 6401.79 minus 502.20. I paid about $5,900 for this entire system, including the cooler. Now, let's talk about the usage, because I bought this with the intention of buying the smart home power panel. Let's see if I can find that right quick. I was going to buy it with the smart home power panel, and the intention was I was going to wire my building in with this smart panel and hook the Anker up in the building full time. Now, what I really wanted to do was this panel will take your main power line in and then feed this sub panel here. In the bottom, you can hook two of the Anker Solix F3800s into it. Each F3800 offers 25 amps of power until it's dead. So the whole intention was I was going to charge my cars, I was going to run my night lights, things that I have in my building entirely off of the battery, and then anything that needed to supplement would pull off of the grid. In order to recharge the battery, I wanted to use solar, but the solar, as I said earlier, didn't really work the way I thought it was going to work. So the goal was to see if I couldn't charge my cars entirely off of the sun. And I could probably slow the charge rate down to say 24 amps so that the battery would only be used until it died, and then it would just pull 24 from the grid. These were all things I wanted to try. It didn't work out that way for a couple of reasons. One, the solar could not produce, even with, well, no, they were 400-watt panels and had three of them, so that should have been 1,200 watts of solar. We never seen more than 600 at peak, and it didn't hold but for just a few minutes. So we weren't getting the power we were hoping to get out of those panels, and there was some really expensive panels for what they were. On top of that, there were issues with using this system in the way that I had intended to use it. So the system has a maximum and minimum temperature. The maximum temperature for this entire system is 107 ambient, which equates to about 130 some, internally. If it ever gets above 130, I think it's 135, it just shuts off because it's unsafe to continue working. It could cause, a thermal runaway. It could cause a lot of issues. So you definitely don't want that. Storing it in my building where I intended to use it wasn't going to work because it gets hot in there. There's no ventilation. There's no air conditioning. And so then having to run, some sort of climate control in that building just for this to work became less affordable. On the flip side, in the winter, once it reaches freezing, 32 degrees Fahrenheit, you cannot charge or discharge this battery. It needs to be heated. It can't operate below freezing. So the system is designed to just completely turn off at that temperature and not work. So at the extremes of both, times of the year around here, it wouldn't work. It's only going to work on cool days and, days that it's not stupid hot. But if it's not stupid hot, then guess what? There's no sun to charge the solar. So it wasn't going to work. And it was a very expensive investment for, no more than I was going to be able to use it for. What we did end up using it for about 2 months, we hooked it to our refrigerator in the kitchen and we used it as a UPS. So if the power went out, this would kick in, keep our refrigerator running, and when the power comes back, it would recharge its own battery and keep going. That worked great, especially during the hurricane. We had, I guess this is 7.6 kilowatt of battery to run the refrigerator. We also plugged in our Starlink to it just so that it could stay on. We even plugged our microwave into it because, we needed to be able to cook something, and it worked flawlessly. Plenty of amperage, plenty of everything we needed. It was really overkill for what we needed, but it was good. It worked. It did what it was intended to do. But, I dropped $6,000 almost, $5,900, on buying this whole setup. And I had 3 very huge solar panels that I didn't even need for the system. I never even used them more than once. And the whole intention of getting this system was gone. So I thought, I'm going to list it up for $5,900. If I can sell it for exactly what I paid and basically get a free cooler out of it, I will sell it. It sat for about a month, just listed. Nobody really showed any interest. But I had one guy come up and say that he was interested, but he was from Florida. And we set up a meeting to kind of meet halfway. And I thought, it's worth a try. I drive electric anyway, so I'm not like I'm spending a ton of money to drive down there if it didn't work out. But if I could walk away with the money in my pocket, it'd be worth a try. He ended up giving me $99 extra. So I sold it for $59.99, which we'll just say $6,000. I mean, I profited $100 off of this, and it's gone. Now, I would be lying if I said that the idea hasn't crossed my mind to come back over here and buy it again, because they have this particular, the dual system with the home power panel backup and 2 extra batteries. So 2 of these. Right here, I mean, we're looking at 10 grand. They've got it for 8 to Costco members. So that's a pretty good deal. But at the end of the day, I don't really need this. These aren't as useful as I thought they were going to be. This home power panel would have to be wired into my house. But then, really, if you think about it, that doesn't work because this home power panel has a maximum output of 60 amp. My whole house can't run on 60 amp. Like when the power goes out, we conserve and we don't use as much. But during normal operation, I couldn't use this full time on an automatic transfer switch because 60 amp won't cut it. So I've got away from that. I would still like to have one of these power stations just because, being able to have my refrigerators running and stuff like that, it would be a huge benefit to just have it. And so I did some research on all these different models that they have to offer. You can kind of get a good idea of what you're looking at here. I wanted something right around 2,000 watts at least because, we're trying to run refrigerators and microwaves and whatever else we need during the day. That kind of narrows it down to these two, the F1200, which is 1,800 watts, a 1.2 kilowatt hour battery pack, 1.3 we could say, or this one, which is 2,400 watts and a 2 kilowatt hour battery pack. Now 2 is nowhere near the nearly 4 we had in just one of these, plus I had the expansion, which put me to like 7.6. So it's how long it's going to last is going to be a lot lower than something like what I had. But again, what I had was kind of overkill. So I've decided on this one. There is another model above this one, which I don't currently see on this page, but I think it's called the F2600, which is basically just 2.6 kilowatt hour and 2,400 watt. But with this one, $12.99, and you want to add the additional battery here, which is currently $23.49. I've got a deal tracker set up on this, and you can actually get the bigger battery for, just a few dollars more. So, from 23 to $25.99. Now you've got that 2.6 kilowatt hour expansion battery plus the 2 kilowatt hour this one, so 4.6 kilowatt hour total. But anyway, I've got a deal tracker set up on these. We suspect that it will go back on sale around Black Friday-ish. And historically, this particular bundle that I want was $17.99. And if I can get this and this for under $2,000, I think it's a deal. It's already kind of a deal at $23.49, but if I can save the $3.49, I will. So that's kind of what I'm doing. I'm going to keep my eye out. I'm going to set aside 2 of that $6,000 I made off of the F3800 just for the intention of getting this. This will be my, keep the refrigerator running, maybe plug the internet into it if I need to, just as needed kind of thing. And obviously we've got generators and Cybertrucks and everything else we can power the house with, but it never hurts to have a little backup. So this right here can at least keep the refrigerators good in the meantime while, I've got to start the generator or I've got to plug the truck in, those sort of things. Unless Tesla just comes through with my power share thing that I'm trying to get that they're just dragging their feet on. So I don't know. But that's where we're at. And I use this Slick Deals. So we'll go over here. This is a site that we frequent often just because you can find all kinds of good deals on here. Actually, just earlier, it may be still on here, I found this Craftsman wrench set. Well, you know what? I don't know where it's at. I thought it would just be right on the front page. But anyway, I found this Craftsman wrench set a while ago for like $60 off. And I was like, all right, I'm going to order it because why not? Lifetime warranty. But let's go Anker Solix F2000. And so there's a refurbished model that you probably could get today. But here's like, $19.99 for the exact setup that I was wanting. I think there was another one down here that was cheaper, but I can't find it now. 21, 20. I don't see it now. But anyway. So yeah, $19.99 looks to be a deal for it. And this may actually be an active deal because it's not grayed out. So that's interesting. Get deal at Anker. But is there a code? Is there something I've got to use? Here's a code. Well, you know what? Let's try it. While I've got you here, we may end up going ahead and getting this. I think this is a better move. This one's only like 75 pounds, like total. So it won't be as hard to move around. Oh my gosh. I had to load the F3800 in my truck to try to go meet the guy. Nightmare. This one only supports one battery, one expansion battery. So, there's that. Let's try enter promo code that we found online. And yeah, $19.99, sure enough. So I might end up ordering that just because that's kind of where I was wanting to be as far as what I'd want to spend on this. But yeah. I think that's the good happy medium. And like I said, they do have a 2600 model. It's just a 2.6 kilowatt hour battery, and then you can add the 2.6 expansion battery. Now see, here's the thing about Anker. Their website's funky sometimes. So like I can go over here. Let's see if I can add that 2.6. Was that right? Did I do that right? This one. Oh, it's sold out. Okay, well, never mind then. I was going to say I'm going to try to add that to the cart and see if that code works for it as well, but yeah, it's sold out. So anyway, sometimes you play with their website because especially you add it to the cart and then they start doing this, free gift when you add something else, You kind of play with it and see what gets you the better deal. But I think that's going to be the play. No solar this time. Not going to waste my time. Not going to waste my money. I do still have one solar panel that's 100 watt that I could easily use on this. But 100 watt ain't going to do a whole lot. Anyways, that's that. That's the Anker. And that's why I no longer own the Solix F3800. But I may own an F2000 pretty soon.